16 Lovers Lane is a terrific record. It was the last with the first lineup. And why that song? I know it's the most well-known song off that album, but why did you choose that one to cover?
I just wanted to do a hit, Richard, did that?
You wanted to steal the show?
No, everybody was doing these obscure ones. I was like, yeah, give me the hit, you know? I mean, why not? But, you know, look, it's also a song that, you know, I mean, it's probably their most well-known song, so, you know, I knew it, and it, you know, appeals to my own sort of sensibilities, you know, when it comes to the kind of music that I like to write myself, I suppose.
She comes from Ireland, she's very beautiful. I come from Brisbane, and I'm quite plain.
The Go-Betweens' breezy signature sound was with the group from the onset. They released their first single, named after the actress Lee Remick, in 1978. And the group found themselves at the forefront of the post-punk movement, then stirring Brisbane's musical underground.
I've had two dreams in life. One dream is to be up on stage playing Go-Between songs. And the other dream is to be in a band with 4 guitar players. Tonight comes together.
Another one of the guest performers here tonight at the Tivoli in Brisbane is Darren Hanlon, a man who I'm not surprised would be a Go-Betweens fan. So, can you remember the first time you heard the Go-Betweens music?
It would have had, I must have been about 16, I think, at the time. I was very lucky. I come from a little town just up the road of Brisbane called Gympie, and being really into music from a young age and wanting to play in bands from a young age and write music, there wasn't too many outlets in Gympie. I guess it just gave you a little bit of hope that someone in Queensland, you know, can make such amazing pop music that sounds like a lot of stuff that I was listening to from overseas and stuff.
This is a song called Right Here.
It rains all day, so you stay inside and lock your door. Crying all the time, crying for you don't know what for. You say you're undone by his kiss, but don't you think that for once in your life it should be like this? Your hands are tired, your eyes are blue, and I'm keeping you right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. Whatever I have is yours, and it's right here. Climb aboard my pony, now you've been thrown. Get back in the saddle and let it be known that you're made of steel. And don't you think that for once in your life you should be made to feel? Your hands are tired, your eyes are blue, and I'm keeping you right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. Whatever I have is yours, and it's right. I know you're 32, but you look 55. You walk around with your eyes wide open, but you're barely alive.
growing up in Brisbane and the Go-Betweens, give us an idea of the importance the band has had on the city.
I think that they were the first band that sort of made an impact on the overseas market. You know, apart from the Saints and bands like that, but people that used to see them at Triple Z Market Day and all those sort of things loved them, and then, I mean, they had to leave because there wasn't enough going on in Brisbane, pretty much, because of the whole Joe thing and all of that, I suspect. And, yeah, I think people have always been proud of them.
But you just talked about Sir Joe Bjelke-Petersen, who was the long-time Premier of Queensland. From what you've heard and from what you saw, what was Brisbane like when the Go-Betweens started up in the late 70s?
Well, it was a police state, pretty much, and, you know, lots of silly things, like, and they Go-Betweens sing about it in songs about them knocking buildings down in the middle of the night, and, you know, a lot of landmarks in Brisbane were destroyed, and I think that Grant and Robert were, because they're into art and things like that, they found it depressing. And
there was a couple of times where you'd be on stage doing a number and you'd just be able to look right through the front door of the hall in West End or South Brisbane or wherever, and you could see the police coming through the door as you're on stage, and that happened a number of times.
And the police were just going crazy at that time. They just didn't want groups of people anywhere, groups of young people who were rebellious. And all that was tied in at the same time. The music explosion happened at exactly the same time that they said that we couldn't demonstrate. It was a highly charged political situation in Queensland in the late 70s.
They have problems with their father's law. They sleep in the back of a feminist bookstore. The Clark sisters.
The political climate of the time definitely was very, very reactionary. You know, gigs were being closed down. You couldn't demonstrate in the streets. Whilst it, you know, it's not exactly jackboot fascism kind of thing, it was very inhibiting.
And their steel grey hair, their lovely steel grey hair, the Clark sisters.
I guess right from the start we knew that what was going on in Brisbane at that time was there wasn't much of an audience, so we were always looking to play, I think, outside Australia. Towards the end of the first year, which was 78, we were, you know, thinking about another record to do and saving up money to go to England, which is what we did in 1979.
Well, this is a pleasant surprise, coming to London and finding the Go-Betweens. And I find it almost ridiculous that I have to come to London for you to come on Countdown.
And that's exactly what we said before we came.
Do you take your shoes and go outside? Stride over stride.
For most of the 1980s, the Go-Betweens were based in London. It was a time when a lot of Australian music was struggling to get noticed at home. But the Go-Betweens made the most of their new surrounds and received critical acclaim throughout the UK and Europe. Commercial success eluded them, and internal differences led to the group disbanding in 1989. By the mid-90s, both Grant and Robert had moved back to Brisbane to live. When they actually did come back home and took up residence again in Brisbane, it seemed to have a really positive effect on the city.
yeah, it did. And I sort of didn't realise the legacy that they were setting up at the time, of, you know, how actually big that band was, or not big, but, you know, how important they were. And people that knew them earlier on were true music fans, and that sort of, I don't know, it's sad really that they never were as big as they could have been here or whatever.